tarde.
Boa tarde. Ana, connosco é sessões contínuas.
Boa tarde.
Anda, João. Olá. Se calhar não está cá ninguém em inglês. Olha que fixe. Falamos todos em português.
Boa tarde.
Olá, Andreia.
Boa tarde.
Vai ver se estava às escuras ou se estou às claras. Estou às claras.
Estava lá no dark side. Está às claras, está bem.
Olha, podes... Espera aí.
Queres então que eu faça a apresentação em português ou em inglês?
Não faz em
Só
inglês.
minutos.
Faça em inglês para depois ficar para todos em inglês?
Uhum.
Ou... Sim? Faça em
Sim.
inglês?
Sim.
Okidoki.
Então vá, que eu vou começar a transmitir em direto.
Mas espera, falta o chefe. Olá, Tomás. Prazer em vê-lo.
Olá, Conceição. Hoje estás ao solinho.
Conceição só para nos fazer inveja.
Está sem som.
Aproveitar o sol, já tinha saudades do sol.
Ai, muito bom.
Okay, so we should start. We're
Yeah.
missing our chef, but he will be back in a minute. So. See, Andrea, Raquel, Igor. Okay. Oh, hi. Okay, so we're back, and this is our 21st Food Talk. And as you know, we have different people coming and talking to us. And today we're having a different type of chat. We're having as our guest Chef João Rodrigues. He is, well, everybody knows him, but I have short introduction for you. For those who don't yet, he's well known for being the executive chef of Hotel Altis Belém in Lisbon. And well, he has been so since 2013. And more recently, he has worked on other projects also associated with the Altis Hotels Group, namely the restaurant Rocio Gastro Bar and the Altis Avenida Hotel and João Rodrigues space at Mercado Ribeira. Well, he started his professional career way before that, at the beginning of the century, let's say, in 2001. And he went through all the kitchen areas until he became the executive chef. And that probably made all the difference. Maybe he wants to talk to us about all that process as well. So along this path, this route, he spent time in several spaces, and those which have become a reference as important milestone in his training and in his growth as a cook are the restaurant Bica do Sapato and Pragma under the coordination of Chef Fausto Arioldi, and the Hotel Ritz Four Seasons under the leadership of Stefan Chefs Hestin and Sebastian Rospelier. I don't know, I never know how to pronounce his name, but Chef João Rodrigues, probably he knows better than I do. So since 2016, he has dedicated his work to the deepening of issues related to production work, how the producers work, and the contacts he has made actually contributed to the Portuguese gastronomic identity, and that is most important to us. So that's how the Materia project was actually appeared and was created. And we're going to watch a video, I think, about that. His project has also been recognized, and he was awarded several times for being associated with a great dedication to the direct work he does with those producers, and how he promotes them through Feitoria restaurant with national and international participation. So the Feitoria restaurant has received several distinctions over the years. Well, we all know that it has Michelin star since 2011. It has been #1 in many, concerning many lists. guides, the OAD, the Opinionated About Dining, the Wine magazine. So it has been awarded several distinctions. And also, well, maybe I'll let Chef João Rodrigues tell us more about him and all this path that he went through. So thank you once again, because I already talked to him a bit before. So thank you, Chef João Rodrigues, for being with us here today. It's going to be just a talk. Please feel free, I think, to ask him questions, to do ask questions. And now I think Ricardo could play the video. Do you think it's okay, Chef Rodrigues?
Yes. So
yes.
Let me say hello to everybody. I hope this is, we can have a talk among everybody. So let's make it more loose.
Yeah.
So we can start with the video. The video is about the project, my own project called Projeto Materia. And start with that, and then we talk a little bit about my path and what I've been doing so far in the last 20 years and about the project itself. So we can start.
Yeah. Thank you so much. I don't know if Ricardo is already able to show the video. Let me tell you something about Chef João Rodrigues. I don't know. It was very funny the first time I talked to him, I should confess, because when I contacted him to be one of our guests in the first experience we had with EST students for a dining experience.
Some complicated issues. Didn't you see the video? I was sharing.
No, we just saw your documents. Sorry about that.
Okay.
Now we know all your secrets. We know all your secrets.
Let's try again. So, and now, are you seeing?
Now we can see.
And I will keep asking. And now, you can see it?
Yeah, it's perfect.
And can you listen?
Not really. Maybe you need to share with sound.
Sorry?
Cannot hear it.
Yeah, we cannot hear it.
A little bit higher, teacher.
Yeah, because it's very low, like there's like in the background.
Okay, and let me see.
Relação de absoluta confiança, em que aceitamos tudo o que comemos sem questionar, seja o que for.
Yeah, it's better.
Quantas vezes pensamos na origem dos alimentos que ingerimos? Será que sabemos de onde vêm? Como são produzidos? Como chegam até nós? Quais as paisagens que os encerram? Será que conhecemos quem os produz? As dificuldades por que passam? Em que condições o fazem? O trabalho que está implícito? São ainda os guardiões do território, o saber fazer, as tradições, os costumes e a última análise da nossa identidade. Queremos que eles façam parte do processo diário da nossa cozinha, da nossa aprendizagem, da nossa filosofia e da mensagem que queremos transmitir. Para que isto aconteça, temos que ir ao seu encontro e percorrer de norte a sul o nosso país. Estar dispostos a passar tempo e perceber o que fazem e como o fazem. Matéria é sobre criar conhecimento, é sobre procura, é sobre saber parar e contemplar, é sobre a importância do tempo, é sobre partilha, é sobretudo sobre as pessoas. Este é um espaço que queremos que seja para todos, construído por todos.
Thank you. The floor is yours.
With a little bit of cuts.
Yeah. Technology not always helping out.
I think we have an idea of what it is and the connection that it is between people and the effort that they make in their own projects, in their own production, and the effort that we make every day in our everyday life in the restaurant. So the video is a little bit about that. It's a comparison between the work they do in the fields and the work that we do in our kitchens.
Mm-hmm.
So before we go into Projeto Materia, I'll tell you a little bit about myself and what I've been doing in the last 20 something years and how I started. So when I first started in the kitchen, I didn't want it to be a cook, or I didn't have an idea what was a professional kitchen. So I never saw this as a possibility for my life and for my profession. I was studying biology, marine biology, and this is what I wanted to do, not because I had a calling about being a new Jacques Cousteau, but just wanting to have a different alternative life that somehow could have my life more in the open air than inside of an office or something like that. So I was looking for something that I could do with my own hands and I would let me travel, see the world, and have some kind of an alternative life. So that's the main point in being a biologist for me. But somehow I lost some interest, and one day at home, because I live with my brothers, we are four, and we live together from young age. My parents went out of Lisbon to live and to work, and so we were 17, 18, 20. So we stood in Lisbon to study, and we stood and lived together, all the four of us. You can imagine four young people living together. It was crazy every day. So I didn't study much. So the idea went a little bit wrong. But at that point, I started to cook for myself and to my brothers and for a bunch of friends. And I was really in love with cooking. But like I said, I never thought it could be a profession or a job. So one day I was at home, and my elder sister, she asked me, why don't you think about this as something more serious and you go and get some information? Why not? And at some point that it made it makes sense. It was a click, and I went to look information about schools in Lisbon. I didn't know nothing about this. And then I found that it was a professional school in Lisbon. At the point, it was a different school that it is right now. And I went there to find out about the inscriptions. And the lady there told me, this is the last day, so you have to do it today, or you won't do it at all. So you have to wait one more year. And then, okay, it was, well, I had to do it right there. So it was like, sometimes it feels like fate, but I don't believe it, but it sounds like it. So I did the inscription. I made a few tests to get in, and I was in, and then I found out this completely new world. I fell in love immediately by the whole school feeling that it was. It was really strict, and I really loved the cooking classes and all that. But then I really stuck to it, and I fell in love in my first internship. I did it in Hotel Ritz in the restaurant Veranda, and it was in 99, so it was a long time ago. And Portugal was a completely different country that it is right now today. And in the gastronomy area, it was a completely different world. So it was not a beautiful job to have to be a chef or a cook. In Portugal, nobody had the information that it has today. We had no books, so we had no knowledge at all. So I took the challenge, and I did it, and I fell in love with it. And then I immediately start working in the end of the course. And I was trying to have I went to Estoril as well to do food production. But I was trying to keep it at the same time of the classes. So I was working crazy shifts in the restaurant. Restaurant is called was called Bica do Sapato. It was a very trendy restaurant at the time. It's more like 2003. So it was a very trendy restaurant, very turned into the fashion people, television, cinema, all people coming from abroad. It was a very dynamic restaurant. At the time, people, if they wanted to have a more complex meal, they would have to go to hotels. There were not many restaurants that could have this very trendy offer. So I was lucky to find the place there, and I started to work. So for you to have an idea, I was going there at 9 a.m. to the restaurant. I would serve lunches, then I would go out in the after 3 o'clock in the afternoon. So I would have to go to Estoril. I would have some classes there, and then I had to get back at 7:30 to do dinners until 1 a.m. So of course I did this for 7 months, and then I quit school because I couldn't keep up with the rhythm, and I decided that I want to be a chef, so I'm going to focus in my career. So I worked there for 3 years in Bica do Sapato, and I learned a lot. It was very heavy because we would go for 150 dinners and 50, 70 lunches. So every day like this, we only had one day off on Mondays, and it was really tough sometimes. So I say that this part was my combat part. So I understood what is to have some capacity of work in volume. You understand? So you build up a little bit of strength in volume. So, but what I had too much of this, I had a lack in detail. So I felt that I needed some detail and to understand more techniques, more specific things, and to get another kind of work. So the opportunity came in 2005 in the Hotel Ritz again. So now to work. And the hotel was making a very good effort in trying to get a Michelin star back then. So they went for a chef with 2 Michelin stars in Lyon called Sébastien Rospelier, and he came to Lisbon to try to make Veranda a Michelin star restaurant. So for me and for the other guys that were working in this kitchen, only Portuguese cooks, it was a shock because suddenly we were used to a very loose environment. We would do whatever we want. We would keep it calm, and then suddenly arrives a person that has a completely mindset, and he wanted us to have the same mindset that he had. So he was very strict. He was very it was very hard. He was the first to get in the kitchen, so we only worked for dinners, and we started at 2 p.m. and then we would go until 11. But he was the first one to arrive at 10 a.m. and he expected us to do the same. We were not used to this, and we thought we had a lot of time only to do 17 dinners, 20 dinners. So we wouldn't understand, but we had to transform ourselves into what he wanted. He was very, he didn't shout, so you could not have a sound in the kitchen. Another thing completely different for us Portuguese, that we're used to making a lot of noise, speaking to one another. We would go to smoke a cigarette whenever we wanted, or to drink water, and then all this stopped. So we could not drink water, we could not smoke, we could not go to the toilet. Only in the certain times of the day that he would say it's okay. So it was a big transformation for all of us, and we suffered because we were not used to this, and the level, the technical level was really, really high. And then I really struggled with it in the first month. It was really hard to keep up. But then at some point, I decided that I would go and give everything that I had to learn. And the thing is that even today, I will never forget the teachings that I have from that person. It was really hard, but we got to a point that we were really better cooks and better professionals in the end. So after that, Chef Fausto Airoldi was opening a restaurant in the brand new Lisbon Casino. We didn't know what this casino would turn into, but the expectations were really high. So it was to be the first restaurant only with tasting menus, not working a la carte. And in the Portuguese reality, was really the first one only to have tasting menus. So the thing that called me more into this was that I was able to, now that I have the capacity of work in volume, now that I have the detail, the discipline, now I wanted to experiment, to test, and have the ability of trying the different things to put in a practice what I think, my ideas. And these all came to be a reality, and it was outstanding because we could really experiment, and it was 2 years that we worked there. The whole team was really in the same mindset. We were all working together, everybody sharing ideas, everybody testing. But unfortunately, the restaurant didn't work out because it was inside of a casino. So we really were dependent of the rules of the casino. Under 18 people couldn't get inside of the casino, so couldn't go to the restaurant. Then we were very dependent on the shows of the casino. So it all turned into something that we didn't want, and it didn't work like we expected. But for me personally, it was a time of my life that that we could experiment, work with so many products and so many equipment and everything that we could experiment. And then, of course, when you experiment, you will deal so many times with the error, and then you understand what you can do right or you cannot do right. So you need to make these errors in order to grow up and to understand what your limits are and what you can do good or bad. So it was really good for me, for my growth as a professional, to have this opportunity to do this. After this, I was invited to participate in a how do you say, in a, I don't remember the word in English, but it was like a contest. It was a contest, a cooking contest called Chef of the Year, Chef do Ano. And I don't like competition for itself. But then I decided that, okay, I spoke to my chef and he said, to Fausto, and he said it was good to go and to understand where you are like a professional between the other people that goes, and you see where you are at the moment, how are your skills. So I decided to go, and I won the contest. So I was the Chef of the Year in 2007. And the important thing of this is that in the jury was the chef that was to become my future chef. So he invited me because of the contest, invited me to open a new space in Lisbon, in Belém, called, it was an hotel called Altis Belém. And it belonged to the group Altis. And the idea was to have a restaurant inside to get a Michelin star. The restaurant should call Feitoria. So this was in 2008. I went there. I took the challenge, and I went as a chef of the restaurant. So he was the executive chef, and I was the chef of the restaurant. So we started to work. And the idea here was to make a restaurant like you would find in London or Paris or whatever, an international restaurant. And the focus was to win a Michelin star. I never ever worked in a Michelin star restaurant before. I worked with Michelin star chefs, but it is not the same. So for me, it was another new learning that I could have. So we started to do things, and in 2011, in November, we found out that we won a Michelin star for the 2012 guide. So you work to win the next year approval for the Michelin guide. So I've been there in Feitoria for 12 years right now. The chef that was before me, he went away in 2012. So the first year that we had a Michelin star. And then I had the most difficult year of my life in professional terms in 2013, because there was a lot of suspicion. Now the chef went away. Feitoria will lose for sure the Michelin star. There's a new guy there that, it's always in the restaurant, but now he's taking over, what he's going to do and stuff like that. So it was a really difficult year. We were living a crisis, an economical crisis back then. And it was really hard to do it, but we kept the star. So we won a Michelin star again. And I think it was a turning point in my life, because I decided that from now on, I will never work just to keep things how they are. So the idea was to do much better. So in the end of each year, we are not concerned in losing, we are concerned in winning. So if you don't win, okay, you have one Michelin star at the same, but we are not concerned in losing. So we decided that at that point, every year we're going to try and do better than we do last year. So that was the mindset from now on. In 2014, I decided to change the whole idea of the restaurant, and we were trying to improve in products that we used. So we started to look for international premium products. We had a lot of issues with logistics here in Portugal, it was really hard to get good products, or if we had a good product, it was really hard to have it always the same consistency. So we were looking for that consistency out abroad. So we started to look producers from Spain, from France, and we were bringing the best products that we could find, and we built from there. But and I think in 2014 we really changed the way people would see the restaurant into more to a place that had a life of its own. But in 2015, I started to think, well, if you're coming from France to visit Lisbon and you go to Feitoria, you're going to find the same things that you could find in Paris or in London or in Hong Kong. So what makes the difference if you are traveling here? It's just to have a safe meal and to feel safe, or do you want to experience something that is connected to the country that you are in? And this idea was starting to grow a lot in my mind. And I felt like we are not delivering what we should be delivering. So we are Portuguese, we are in Lisbon. I have my own way of seeing things. So I should try to bring the offer that we have, the restaurant, to closer to this idea. So in 2015, we started to work on identity. And yeah, the main thing was to give some dishes that would have a story behind, that would make sense, that were connected with the culture and what I experienced in my country, to the flavors. So we started to work on this flavor DNA that could portray the Portuguese flavor. So we were thinking a lot about this, but suddenly we realized that you are not true to yourself if you are doing this and you are using products from another part of the world. So the next step was, okay, I'm doing this kind of cooking, so I have to use Portuguese products. And then the obvious question came up, that was, where are the products? We had really difficulties with logistics. We could not have these products, but we knew that they were there somewhere. So I started to pick up the phone, and I called different chefs around the country, and I asked them, so what do you have special in your region? What is the traditions? What do you have there? What you have in terms of people that are doing a great job in terms of producing products, breeding cattle, whatever. And for my own surprise, I found out that everybody was having the same questions, the same struggle. So I decided to go myself to visit different regions in the country, and I would go for 10, 15 days, and I would go to search for small producers, very good products. And then we started to build the idea that would become project Materia. So when I started to do this, I went to different regions. I started to speak with different people. And then I realized that we have a different, completely, we have no idea of the struggles that they go through, the problems that are involved in production, and that sometimes we don't have the right information about what we are eating. So sometimes we feel very safe about food, but actually we don't know what we're eating. We are not making questions about it. We just eat it and that's it. At that time, I went to a presentation of a Spanish philosopher Iñárritu, and I was amazed about it because he spoke about food as a poison. And it's true, because if you think accurate about it, you see that we built over the years a relationship of trust with food. So you eat, and for you, you get a product from the supermarket, and for you, that's safe to eat. You don't make any questions. You don't know what the person that created that product, that breed, that cow, who cut it, the beef, whatever, and you just get it from a supermarket. You open it, you cook it, and you eat it. So at that point, you build a relationship of trust, and you don't know what you're putting into your bodies. So for me, that this was a very enlightening issue, and I started to realize that if I'm doing this in my restaurant, I have to show people what they are eating and where the products come from, the people that are doing it. So we decided to develop this project called Materia. And the big change was that we were showing the products at the raw stage before we serve you the dish, so that people could have an idea and a close relationship between what they are eating in the dish and what the product is. And when we show the product, we would at the same time talk about the characteristics of each one. So for instance, if you are eating turbot, we would explain you where the turbot come from, where it was caught, by whom, what kind of fishing they are using, and what are the characteristics of turbot. And then, for my surprise, a lot of people were amazed because we were using a lot of species. We were trying to use whatever it was available. So we created direct contact with the producers. So in the night before, we were talking in WhatsApp, for instance, and they would show us what is available to buy, and then we decide together what we should buy for the day after. And this is, for us, it was really good because we were only using seasonable products, and so the freshest products that we could have. And at the same time, we were giving the team more information, and they would not feel, how can I say, safe every day about what they are doing. They were not getting accustomed to what they have to do. They were not doing sea bass every day. They were changing everyday fish, so they had to learn how to cut the fish, the texture, how to cook it, the right temperature inside. So all of these builds a cook, and it helps to build a team, a motivated team, because every day is a new day, is a new experience. So all this together, we had to work to create a dynamic that this could work. So we would not no more use the names of the products in the menu. We would trying to use things like caught catch of the day, or bivalves, to use all of them. So we would not specify what we had. We would create a language that could be more involvent. And then in the service, we would really show what we were using and what it is and where it comes from. At the same time, we decided to develop this map that we would give to all the customers, to all the clients, that shows where all the providers, all the producers were in the country. So this could help people to have a direct connection to the map of Portugal, and understand the different regions and where they come from, the different products. And we would tell the stories at the same time about the producers. So this was the beginning of the Projeto Materia, that is made only by me It's a personal project, but of course, in order to be true to myself, I had to use it in my everyday life. It wouldn't make sense to make a project like this, and then in my everyday work, I didn't use this. So it was the whole philosophy getting together in the restaurant, and this happened in 2016. In 2017, we tried to develop this even more and to systemize everything. And then now we were trying to make concerns about waste and dividing the garbage. So we were separating garbage, paper from plastic, from organic. We're starting to make this separation and to try to diminish as much as we could waste. So we were no longer cutting small squares of fish to be all equal. We were, if you get the tail, you get the tail. If you get the neck, you get the neck. So we were trying to use the whole fish, so we could not have waste. So this is one of our worries. Then we started to work as well with people that would make wood and ceramics. And we started to change all of this in order to have artisans, small artisans, and we could help them as well. At the same time, I showed in Congresso dos Cozinheiros in 2017 that we would turn the Projeto Matéria into a platform. So the idea was to, if I have this struggle and these problems, much more chefs around the country have this problem. So the idea was to create a web to connect everybody. So a chef in Algarve could say, I have this and this and this producer. Why don't you come here and visit them? And then we put it in the website. So this is what is working right now. And Materia is, I want it to be a tool for everybody. So if you go there, you can find that is divided in several topics, and you have a map of the country where you have all the producers. So you have all the producers, the story, the photographs, you have the whole information, the contacts, the direct contacts. So if you are at home, if you want to get these projects at your home, you can contact directly the producer. And it has the information of the chef that somehow was the people that introduced to this. So the idea is to create a big web between everybody and to create information. And this is very important because I think that what makes a very strong gastronomy is if you have information. If you don't have information, you cannot value the products. So we have the whole chain. If the chain only goes from the producer to the chef, it doesn't work. It has to go from the producer to the consumer. So the consumer has to understand the work that is behind and who's doing it in order to value it and to pay the value of these products. So if you want organic product with no chemics, done right, seasonal product, we're not being done in plastic structures out of season. So if you are knowing this, if you have this information, if you want to eat this kind of food, then you have to give it the right value. And if you give it the right value, and if you do it directly to the producer, then you are creating sustainability for the producer itself. So it doesn't have to feel obliged to go into big corporations and have the margins more crushed, and then he makes nothing out of it, and the big structure, the big company makes all the money. So we have to start inverting all the process in order to create value and in order to create real sustainability. At the same time, the restaurant has to be sustainable as a business itself. It's very good to, when we talk about restaurant, it should not be a business like we heard so many times. But the thing is that a restaurant has to be a business and it has to be sustainable. So you cannot pay amounts of money and throw a lot of food in the garbage and have like 40 people working in a kitchen and it doesn't make money in the end. And it only creates a process that it will last for 1 or 2 years and then you shut down. You cannot pass on what your thoughts are. You cannot keep on changing mentalities, and you not keep on working on trying to do this, to make this a better world to live in. So we have to really work together as an ecosystem all together in order to make the difference in food production nowadays. Of course, it's not possible to feed the entire world with organic production right now, but at least we must have the idea that people can make a choice between what they buy, what they decide, or they can buy to eat. So this is really, really important for us. So this is Project Materia. It's a project that right now we have the website is working like a tool. We have everybody connected. We are connecting to other projects that we find very interesting as well, like ceramists, like artisans, studies in olive oil, in wine, in so many, in sociology, history, food history. And we want it to be a tool that for the new generations, if they want to get more generalized information about food, they have a place to go and they can see all of these, the seasons of the vegetables and the animals and the food. They have the producers, the story of the producers, the contact of the producers. They have other restaurants there, other chefs. So it's an whole ecosystem working there. And we want to go into education if we can. We're already trying to make these bridges. Unfortunately, this pandemic slowed down everything. But these are the projects for the future in order to get into education and to get a place where we can be more assertive in the way that we think and what we do and the way we reach people. So this is more or less what I've been doing in the last years and the whole process to get here. If you want to see the site, it's www.projectomateria.pt, and then you find whatever we are doing there, all the initiatives. And of course, if you want to join us and to participate, we are really glad to have more and more people around us that we can. So if you have any questions, I'm here to talk a little bit with you. So
thank you. Thank you very much, João. So anyone has some questions for, yes, Anna?
I have 3 or 4 questions, which are not related with the project Materia, but it's about your creative process. Okay. If you can describe it a little bit. Okay. And then if you can describe your identity as a chef. And then if in your opinion, how the creative process and identity relates. Do you think identity have an influence on your creative process, or it's the other way around, or it's both?
Okay. So creative process, I don't have a rule for creative process. I think if you are aware of what surrounds you, you can be influenced by everything. So if you make a travel somewhere in the world if you are aware of what is around you, I don't know, the landscape, the lady that is talking, the dog in the street, the texture of the building in front of you. If you are aware of all this stuff, then everything can be part of your creative process. So it, it has much to do with the way you feel. It has too much to do with what's on your mind in that moment. Sometimes I'm stuck with an idea, with something, and I cannot go from there to anywhere else. So it doesn't go out of my mind until I create something that is related to this, you know? And at that time, it's possible that I'm forcing my creativity to go somewhere, you know? But sometimes you are struck with something that you don't know where it comes from, and suddenly, wow, this makes sense. Or sometimes it doesn't it just comes in as an idea, and then you develop this idea and you use sometimes other people. So because you discuss it, you show it, this is my idea, and then other people are talking about it, and we try to do this as much as we can in the restaurant. That's, if we have an idea, we of course have to design it first, the idea itself, and then we go into a process that we try it. So we try as the idea came at the first time, but it really doesn't work, because then it's not about just the image, you know, it has to taste good, it has to smell good, it has all these components. So you have to try it. And in this process of trying, some ideas are then created about what you are seeing. So you are bringing other ideas into the main idea. And
Okay.
sometimes
Sorry.
it just goes somewhere else, you know?
Okay. So you think first as an image, and then you think about the flavors, or
There is no rule. Sometimes it happens, the visual thing. Sometimes it's just an idea of scent. It happened already. So I want this to, for instance, chestnuts, you know, trying to portray the smell that we have of grilled chestnuts that we have in the autumn in the street in Lisbon. And then, oh, I would love to do something that smells like this or tastes like this. And then it's quite difficult. We already tried it. Or it can come from a flavor. You try something, or sometimes you try a combination of flavors and say, wow, so what can we, but there it's much easier because you have the flavor part already done, and then you need to work on the ideas so it goes wherever you want. So in the restaurant, I try to not to have many flavors. So it's one of the things that I really like is complex simplicity. You know, you look into it, you don't give too much thought, but there is something that works with you. You know, you try it, and then you go and you think, and then you find out, and it somehow it touches you, but at the first glimpse is quite simple. So I'm really attracted to that, and to keep it really simple. But simplicity is very difficult to get in order to touch people, you know, because yeah, you can be simple, but in order to make something special out of something simple is quite difficult. So I'm always trying to look for that, and I'm never satisfied. So we are always in constant evolving the dishes, you know, trying to get it done. Identity for me, for sure, it has to be what I'm doing in my kitchen. I want it to be to reflect what I am as a person, and I cannot dissociate both, because otherwise I would be a technician, you know, someone that is only deal with technical things. But then I think food has no soul. If you are a technician, it's very beautiful, very well done, but it lacks something. So for me, yes, for sure, my identity as a person, and I have to understand that for me, my identity is always evolving. You know, I'm not the same person that I was in 5 years ago or 2 years ago. I'm a different person. So it's natural that my cooking evolves as well along as I evolve myself as a person. So it's a process. It's always a process, but the two are together for sure. And the last one was
which one influences the other one? It's your creative process that influences your identity, or it's the other way around, or it's both probably.
It's both because you know, sometimes I start to read a book and there's something in the book that opens an idea, and then the question is, I'm reading that book because it means something to me, you know, it's appealing to me. So it's all a circle, it's all very complex, but it's working together. So at some point, then when I start to work with idea, it stucks with me, and you know, sometimes I don't sleep just thinking about it and trying to get it into something else that I don't know where I'm going sometimes. And so it's you know, it's a combination of both. It's definitely the both. Yeah.
Okay,
so we have one more question. Anna?
It's me again? Yeah.
No,
I have another question. It's about, but I don't know how to say in English. Vou dizer em português. Se o facto, se acha que o facto dos pratos serem os seus pratos serem reconhecíveis, se isso pode traduzir a sua identidade, ou ter-se atingido uma certa identidade. Prato ser reconhecível pelo cliente ou por crítico, por exemplo.
Vou responder em inglês. That's it's called signature dishes. So sometimes I think that a lot of chefs talk about signature dishes, but they are only possible if someone recognizes that dish as yours. Because nowadays it's very, very difficult. It's always difficult to make something new. I think in every profession, it's the most difficult thing is to create something, because we are, you know, and nowadays it's even more difficult because every day we are bombarded with images, ideas, new things, and we are connected. We are all connected because of this. So the information is there. So it's quite easy to get something in your subconscious, and then suddenly you think it's yours and you make it, and you think it's yours, but it's not. So we are very influenced today by everything. So the thing is that when you make something that it's really different, I would say different, and someone recognizes it, then I think you have a signature dish. Only then you have a signature dish. When someone would say, okay, this is João's dish, I know him, he's from Feitoria. When you get to this, I think you have a signature dish. So for sure, you have to be recognized by others. That work has to be recognized by others like it's being your work. And I think that's it.
Okay, thank you.
Annalise?
Hi, my question is about materia, and what are the standards to be a material supplier? You said about something about sustainability, seasonability.
Okay, so materia is a personal project.
Yeah.
So I drew the line for what I think it would be a product that I would use in Feitoria. That's my measure. And what we are looking for right now is more that has to do with the people, that has to do with the product. So we were not looking for, how do you say, autochthon. We are not looking for that.
Yeah.
We are not looking for traditional products. We are not looking for just organic product. We are looking for ethics. So we value people that are very passionate about what they do. They are true about what they do. They don't lie. They don't invent stories just to look pretty. and they assume what it is. If it's not, if it doesn't have a certification, a biological certification, for me that's not an issue, as long if it is made properly. You don't use chemicals. It's done in an ethical way. If you have animals, then you have to be aware of what you give them to eat, the treatment that you give them, the way that you are doing it, the whole process. So we value all of that. So that's why we say that the project is about people and not about products anymore. It started as products, of course, but we were looking about it. But then every travel that you make, you discover that something new, and it's a different reality for each one of them. If you have a guy that are making green peas in the north, he will do it in a different way because the weather is different, the land is different, the soil is different, everything is different than a guy in the south. And for me, those differences are very, very important and very good. And to find out that you don't have a standard, you don't have to do things the same way. You have to be connected with nature and how things evolve and how it works with nature itself. And this comprehension for me is the most important.
So the ethics,
quality,
yeah.
of course.
And then when your project will grow, because it will grow, because it's a great project, probably you'll have to do some like validation of the way some producers are going. And
sure, we did it because we want to protect those producers, and we want to help in their business at some point. We don't have any lucrative interest in it. We don't make any money with it. It's one of the standards that we have no commercial relationship with the producers. We are not the middleman by all means. We don't sell their products. We just show information. And then, of course, by doing this, there's the risk of some of them want to grow a lot and to lose the things that they had their own when they started it. But one of the good things about the project, now we have around 80 producers in the country, and there's a lot of things to see and to find out. But we kept, because we go there. This is one of the things that's most important, is that there's not one single producer in the web, in the site that we did not visit. So we visit all. And of course, doing this by ourselves, it takes time and it's difficult. But this is one of the main things that we want to keep, is that we visit, we know the people, we talk with them, we see how they grow, how they work, what they're doing, and we create a bond. So there's a connection between all of us. And of course, we return 1, 2, 3 times. And you know better than me that this is a small world, the gastronomical world. So you know the different chefs, they use the products, you know the different producers, everybody talks. So at some point, if
the information goes around. Yeah,
it's natural. So
yeah, it's a lovely project.
Thank you.
Okay, so anyone have more questions?
Question.
Yeah.
Hello, Chef João Rodrigues. My question is also about Projeto Matéria. You said it is a personal project that you use for your restaurant, but it's a public project. You have a website, and other people are use this platform, I think. Have you an idea of the other chefs are using this platform to find producers for find products for restaurants? Have you an idea about it?
Yes, we can see. Well, I don't know exactly who are the people that visit the site, but we know, we can see how many visits we have by day, and we have a lot of them. But I have to tell you that the idea of creating this was that whatever you want to do, and we know some projects that wanted to make a market. For instance, there's a project called Praça. They were talking about with us to make to be part of this project, but we said no, because we don't want to make money with this. So, but of course, if they want to use the information there to create their site of selling products, for me, that's fine. That's between them and the producers. If it helps the producers, for me, it's wonderful. So we created the site exactly for that, for everybody that wants, that feel free to go, to see, to take information. There's a lot of chefs that are my friends, and they call me, where can I get this or that? And now I used to answer, oh, you have this guy and this and that. And now I say, go to the site, and
Okay.
I created it. So don't call me, go to the site. It's easier. If it's not in the site, and if I know something, because we are building this whole process, we are always visiting somebody, and then we have to wait because we have to gather all the information. There's someone writing, someone photographing, someone editing, then someone passing it to English. So it takes a lot of time until we made the visit and we have the product actually in the site. So if there's someone that is already in the process, then okay, if you don't have it in the site, I can give you 1 or 2 contacts. And it's very good because when we go to one producer, they introduced us to 1 or 2 or 3 more, and then you get a list of more producers that you can go and visit. And as soon as we can do these visits and make the information, then we put it in the site. And for me, it's what I want, is people to go there. And there's a field as well, an item there. If you want to participate, you can participate. You can go there and say, I know this person in this kind of area, and they make incredible apples, for instance. So please go there and visit them. So the idea is to create a whole community of people that has the same goal, that is to create value in the whole chain in gastronomy, in Portuguese gastronomy.
I think it's a very interesting project. Is one example of implementing the principles of strategy, farm to table, and principles of sustainability. And this is very interesting. So to finish, heard your biography, your history is take us to the history of haute cuisine and of Lisbon, the history of the last 20 years, more or less. And that is a history that began with international haute cuisine and make a very interesting way. And now we are, it's the return to the countryside and to the producers, and to short the distance between producers and consumers. So thank you for your presentation. And I finish.
Thank you. Anyone has more questions? João, yes.
I have 2 questions. First, thank you for this at first conversation, and your project is wonderful. I have a question. Do you think fermentation is an answer to sustainability?
Yes, because you are using for instance, leftovers. We do it in the restaurant as well, because, for instance, we talk with the producer. I'm going to give you an example. We work with Hortelão do Oeste. and he has a lot of varieties of tomatoes, for instance. So I prefer to, when it's coming to the end of the season, I say to him, okay, I'm going to buy you what you have in the production to finish it. And I create an amount of product in the restaurant that I cannot use directly, but I prefer to do my own tomato paste, my own tomato water, tomato fermentation, kombucha of tomato. So we do a lot of things in order to cook with tomato until December or November. And then I'm not buying tomato grown in a greenhouse. I don't know if I'm making my point. So you are extending the life of cooking with tomato, but not using tomato out of season. So for me, this is quite important, and I think fermentation helps in the restaurant. And I think in Portugal, our history of preservation is quite different from that fermentation, because we have products all around the year. We have fresh products, and we have the culture of freshness. So I think for me, it's much more interesting in order to go along the seasons and we use what's fresh, but in other way. And our preservations is more about salt and sugar and drying. But I really think that it's interesting, and it's, for me, it's very good to learn all of these techniques in order to have an example. In my case, there's different cases, and everybody, all of them are very interesting as well. But for us in the restaurant, we use this in order to get some products that normally we wouldn't have in the fall or in the winter, and then we can use them. We don't cook with tomatoes when we don't have tomatoes. So in order to make the basis for the sauces and everything like that, then we decided to do this, because you are helping the producer not to have the products in the trees and rotting in the trees or rotting in the field or giving them away. You are helping them, and at the same time you are creating a system so you can work with those products along a longer time. So for sure, yes, I think it helps sustainability.
Okay. It helps as well as the expectancy of the season product as well.
Yeah, sure.
The second question is, we are offshore in a pandemic, and I think that it's a time to invest in departments of investigation and development.
Sure. For me, a long time ago, I think it's more and more important if they can have the possibility to do that. But for me, yes, it's very important that you could have someone in a I&D department, because you have to get someone just around those things, there's so many things. And if you work in this system, even more, because, or if you have a real farm to table, you must develop something to do with all the leftovers, with all the things that you produce but you cannot consume. And this is a very major important thing in the future, is that you don't overproduce in what you can use, or if you do, you must create some kind of answer and escape to all of this, and then you have the system going. Otherwise, we have to be very careful with overproduction. So for me, that's one of the things that it's important to work with small producers, or if you have a real farm to table, that you have your own production, then you can choose the system where you work with, or you just produce the basis, or if you produce everything, then you must develop different kinds of offers to make that use all those leftovers and all those products.
Thank you.
Anyone has more questions? No? Sergio, yes?
Hello, hi there. I'll try to give you all my best English, okay? First of all, I would like to thank you because I'm a big fan of not everything you do, but I follow the project and other chefs that I think they think like you, like the way Portuguese products and cook are valuable. I follow chefs like José Júlio Vintém and Leopoldo Calhau and stuff like that, and I'm a very fond follower of Projeto Materia, and I like it very much. So thank you. I would like. I'm not a cooker, but I'm working on that. So it's a little bit difficult these times. But I would like to ask you if you think it's easy for someone who's starting a new project, a small project, a restaurant, to reach these products and like these producers with low or medium. Do you think that's possible?
Well, I think if you are choosing these kind of products, then you have to be aware that you have to ask the right price for them. But it doesn't necessarily make your restaurant expensive, or it doesn't actually make your restaurant unsustainable. I think what is important is for you to understand what you can do with the products to create that dynamic of having these seasonable products going according the season. So you cannot have the same menu the whole year long, because you won't have tomato all year long, you don't have courgette all year long, you don't have cabbages all year long. So you must, and eat with the fish it's the same, and with the meat more easy, but if you go according to the seasons, you have to choose. But for instance, I can tell you that I'm going to give you one example. I have a very good producer. I know a very good producer in near Torres Vedras, and he breeds pig. And the breed of the pig is Malhado de Alcobaça. So we have three national breeds: Porco Alentejano, Beezer, and Malhado de Alcobaça. And he breeds this Malhado de Alcobaça. And for you to buy the whole pig for €4 a kilo. The thing is that in order to make this, for him is difficult because he doesn't have the logistics to cut you only the leg or cut you only the chops or whatever. So the things that you have to understand is that you have to create an inner dynamics, so you can buy the whole pig, and then or half a pig or a quarter of a pig, and then you can work all these pieces differently in order to make them rentable. So for this is why I think it's important when you open a restaurant, you must have some experience, because it's easy to make mistakes, and it's okay to make mistakes when you don't have this experience. And normally when you make mistakes, when you want to go back and undo the mistakes, normally people choose a very safe kind of place. And then there's a lot of people doing the safe kind of place, and then it turns difficult to the business. I don't know if I'm making myself clear, but
okay, thank you. I think I'm having problems with my internet.
Okay, did you hear?
Oh.
If you didn't hear,
Are
you
you listening
can.
to me? No.
Yes. You can listen after.
It's okay.
Sergio. Don't worry.
So for me, if you are starting something new, I would make sure that I'm really comfortable with what I'm doing. I try to see and understand and to use these products. What can I do? The dynamics that I need to implement so I can be sustainable as much as I can. And to offer, for me, it's very important to offer always fresh products. And if you are working with them, if you want to make a maturation of fish or meat or whatever, then you must have the skills to do it. Otherwise, I would not advise you to go through that. So I would say that in order to make a new business, yes, try to use the best products, affordable ones. So be careful with the price that you put on your products and the margins that you have. So be careful with that. But yes, you should try to use these kinds of products, fresh products, and to feel comfortable in what you're doing. I think this is the best thing that I can tell you.
Okay, thank you. I have two more questions. I'm having a little trouble with my internet, but let me try. Um, do you think all the chefs have the same facility to share the products they know, or it's like an open space, or it's sometimes difficult to share information?
I think it was really difficult to share information. That's why my idea was to create this site and put the most information there that I could. So we are crossing it not only with producers but with other kinds of projects. So we are connecting to projects that are going from sociology to history. Everything is related to food, of course, to ceramics, to wood work, so to all things that cross gastronomy. In order to help someone that wants to have information, they can go into the site and then they discover all these kind of information, where to buy dishes, utensils, information from history. You can learn from that. So that's why I say that I want Materia to turn into a tool, a working tool for everybody that wants to use it. So I think it was really difficult for chefs to move around information. I would say that now I think it's much easier, and because it's a completely different world from when I started. From now, it's completely different. People are much more, and it's not only in the kitchen. I think it's everywhere. People are much more. The mindset is much more
Yeah.
sharing and working together and not having those kind of problems. So I would say it's easier now.
I have one last question. I'm not sure, but I think you have a part in Comida Independent Little Market in Lisbon. Do you or not?
No, I just helped in the first edition.
Okay.
People asked me to help because they wanted to do something new, and they wanted to have everyday food, someone cooking in the market. That was the main difference for the other markets. So they wanted to have someone cooking, and I was the first one to do it. Unfortunately, the pandemic stopped that because now it's forbidden to do it. So, but no, I have no. It's not an idea of mine, and it's not a work of mine. But I really appreciate it, and I love Comida Independente and Rita, and I think she did an amazing job, and I was glad to be part of it and to help.
Okay, so thank you much for your food talk, João. I think it was very inspirational, because we all love not only the food producers and cookers and chefs, but also the designers love your project Materia. And we are on time. I would like to thank you in the name of both masters in food design and innovation in culinary arts and gastronomy and HEST. And thank you so much for your participation and sharing with us all the knowledge from your work with all these years.
Thank you so much for the invitation. It was a pleasure to be with all of you. And thank you.
I hope in the future we could be in person at HEST again.
I think so, and I hope so.
Okay, so thank you very much. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.